The next chapter was basically two
Meeting our
parents
parents.
meeting each other.
Uh, so in the around Diwali time, my parents invited her parents to our place, so that they can meet and discuss about this, and they came to our place in around in the month of October.
Yeah. So when we first came, first went to Venkat's place. So obviously, when you are a girl parent, your parents are very much like, how the family is, whether they have everything in their home. Obviously, their daughter is going to stay over there, so they will be vigilant about those things. But when they went there, we thought that it will be very difficult for the conversations and everything. Luckily, one of his
My
grandfather, you can say cousin grandfather, was also there, and he's the most jolly person in his family. I think that he is like there are two Nokias in our family. In his side, there is this grandfather of Venkats, and in my family, my bhabi is there, who is, by the way, Gujarati. So, at my place, she was the glue. That story will come back to later. But when we went to his place, his grandfather was the person who initiated the conversations, and so he was also translating. There was his
my
mami,
uncle and
basically
mom.
atya,
Hmm.
atta. So mami and atta. So she was there. She know Hindi, so she was translating. Somewhat Telugu and Hindi I knew, so I was translating. So there was communication gap because it was little slow, but it was not impossible. Everything happened on time basically, and I thought that there will be a cultural shock, but it wasn't that different. It was like, okay, there is little bit difference. The major cultural thing was in food, I guess. There were
Hmm.
variety of items. And what in Maharashtra, what habit we have is we take everything in plate at one time. Roti, sabjis, chutneys, your pachadis, and everything. Everything, dal and everything at one place. What at his place we saw, first first auntie brought roti and sabji because we eat roti. So they made roti also on that day. So they bought roti and sabji. Then they gave rice. Then they are bringing one sabjis, like one sabji, then second sabji, then third chutney, then fourth chutney, then papad, then curd also, then some sweet in between, two three sweets in between. And my parents were like, "Oh my god, so much food!" They were really interested. They were in shock because the pattern of it was different, but they were really impressed by so much spread of foods and so much, garelus and everything was there when my parents went there, and they really loved the food. So that was something different.
And
And
the discussion between the parents happened.
hmm,
So like they're asking each other, what do you say? What do you think? What do you think? So like
it was going to and fro.
yeah.
What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? So my
Hmm.
dad's again said that okay, like almost it was at that time everyone was ready only. And in Telugu culture, basically, so when you fix the marriage, you give a sari to the girl, and that is kind of a symbol that now you are uh, now you're about to get
Roka,
married.
roka
Basically,
हो
it's
गया.
not roka kind of, or is it a roka? I don't know. No, no, it's
हाँ,
not an engagement.
तब नहीं दिया था शादी तुमको.
दिया था.
तो दिया था जब घर पे आई थी तो.
Hmm. So now the thing was, whether it's a yes from both sides, whether it's a no from both sides. For a safer side, his mom already bought a sari. Like whatever the decision will be, I'll give a sari if required. So that happened, I guess, and everyone was in one way. So she gave me the sari, and it was kind of that now we can start thinking about marriage and all.
So the discussion, even that was a first interaction, right? Then the parents they were able to communicate with the help of me and with the help of uncle there. So I think even their parents come and saw there was not much of a cultural shock or you can say difference in this traditions and all. And my parents also met their parents. They're also happy the way things went. The way it was really good.
It was really good.
It was
Everyone
really.
was happy, and my dad loved Vijayawada. By the way,
Hmm.
so when he came to Vijayawada and he saw like everything is so beautiful, it's a clean city. We went to that Eat Street and had shawarmas and God knows what all things, and he loved the food also. So he was like very much impressed with the city also. Like it's a good city where Venkat is from and all that.
Hmm.
So all these things matter, by the way. So yeah, that's what happened. Then I came home. We came back home to Kopoli, basically where I am from, and then we started this discussions. And my dad again went on a silent mode for 4 5 days because he was figuring out, how this should be done and what should be done. Obviously there were my family members also who had to be told about this thing and everything. So then now it was my dad's turn to invite his parents home. And then it happened, within, I guess, 15-20 days
Yeah.
time span only.
Around November end, we uncle
Hmm.
invited us to our
So,
place.
dad invited
Uh,
his parents and families.
to
So
our
there were
place.
7-8 people from his family who then came
Came to
to
your
our
place.
place, and it was kind of, that time it was a supari. So in Maharashtra, basically, supari is kind of engagement only. It's kind of a roka that happens between two families. And that was the first time when his extended family was going to meet my extended family and everything. And that's why I say I have one more Nokia in my family, which is my bhabhi, because she played a role in. She doesn't know Telugu, by the way. Still, she was talking to his parents in somehow, and they were able to understand what she's
So
saying.
they're also like, I was translator, and then I was talking to my parents, and the major thing
Because
is
that was the major time when we were discussing the rituals and all,
rituals
like
and all.
how
Yeah.
how the wedding will be. So his mom and his grandmother, like the cousin grandmother, was telling like, these all things has to be followed in Telugu culture. From our side, we were telling that these all are the things that needs to be followed in your culture. And my dad
Mm.
was very excited for their visit, and he was like, "Arey, I have to keep every theme like South Indian theme." So he made sure. So my one of my cousin was basically standing at the door, taking the malipulu, which is gajra, in her hand, and she was giving it to all the ladies that are coming. So everything was very particular. My dad was like, "We have to give a good treatment to his family when they come." So it
So
was a day long visit, and we discussed everything from morning till, I guess, till evening. We were discussing about everything only.
every rituals, and then so there we basically decided that we'll have a two ritual wedding.
And all over there, basically, then we were after their visit, they have to go home. And then what happens in Telugu culture is basically before wedding, you should have this Lagna Patrika thing. So for that, again, we had to go to Vijayawada. So that was discussed in that meeting, that when we are going to have the Lagna Patrika and all. And then the wedding dates, when they go home, they will see with the Pandit and all, and then finalize.
So
Luckily, our kundlis also got matched.
after that day, we went back to our place, and then so Roka is done. Engagement is done there at her place, and we visited it there for the first time. Then later on in the month of December, we invited their parents again to our place. Now we
I'll
had this.
post my Lagna Patrika picture somewhere here for you to
So
see.
so there we had this Lagna Patrika event. So there was
God, the Lagna Patrika story is completely different. What I'm going to, I have no idea about what Pula Jada is, what Pattu Sari is, what that Kamar Pat. I had no idea about it. I went to Tulsi Bagh over here in Pune, and then they showed me so weirdest hair extensions, the Pula Jada. And Venkat, for that also, he was like, "Ha, this is perfect. This is perfect." When I told his mother that time, she was like, "This is not good. This is not how it is." And that was a completely different story. I had no idea that in Lagna Patrika also you have this good embroidery blouse and all. I went something simpler, but yeah, I think everything fell in place that time also. I'll show the picture when first time I met his parents. It was coincident. It was his sister's wedding day also. So
hmm,
we went to the wedding day first,
reception.
reception day first. We met everyone over there, and then we came back home. I
So
got ready for Lagna Patrika.
we planned in such a way because we want to invite them to our sister's reception as well. So and then we want
So we did two things in one
us
go,
at the same time.
basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my sister's reception and Lagna Patrika.
Yeah.
So that when that puja, everything Lagna Patrika happened.
Venkat told that the Lagna Patrika will be a very small function and all. And when we went there, it was full, like, mandap and everything was there in his parking lot only. But then it was like kind of grand only. It was not a small function at
Even I
the.
was
And
shocked.
my mom and my basically father's sister was there, and they also thought that some small function will be there, and that's why I was wearing the sari according to the small function. And this guy didn't tell me anything that okay, it's
even
a big function kind of.
even I
Otherwise, I
was
would have chosen
shocked.
a good sari, Venkat.
Even I was shocked actually. Then I was not expecting that to be that stage and all. I thought it'd be place in a
That time, my
at the
dad
home.
was in culture shock. Like,
Huh.
What? So many people? And it was like we were sitting on stage and everyone is coming and giving us gifts and everything, and my dad was not ready for that.
So yeah, even I was shocked. I was expecting that event to happen at inside our home, but I
It kind of went grand only.
huh,
So that time was we were like official.
officially
Sorry.
engaged.
So that time was basically we were officially engaged, and we came back home.
Then after that,
We knew
after the Lagna Patrika event is done, you are supposed we can start our shopping. We can start preparing our wedding invitation cards. Everything after this Lagna Patrika event in the Telugu culture. So we had to wait for that event to happen till we
happen
start our
shoppings
wedding
and
shopping and
everything.
all.
Correct. So that's all, guys. I guess that's how we convinced parents and how the things happened. For the marriage part, you have to again wait for the next part because it's a very long video and we cannot cover everything in one video. So yes, stay tuned.